Hi there, it's me. Do you know how to get 9 scores in IELTS writing? If you don't know or you aren't sure, then this is the video for you. In this video, I will explain everything you need to know to improve your score. Let's get started. Here we go. Have you ever wondered how examiners assess your answers? Well, there are two main things that they check. They check your grammar and punctuation, and they check your vocabulary. You can find these two things in the band descriptors. So the band descriptors show you the requirements for each band score. For example, band score 7. What you need to do to achieve a band score 7, band score 8, and so on. Now examiners use these band descriptors to assess your answers. They look at your grammar and punctuation and your vocabulary, and they decide which band you should get. Now in this lesson, I will focus on band 9. However, if you want me to make videos about other bands like band score 7, 7.5, 8, let me know in the comments below. Okay, first of all, let's have a look at the requirements for band 9. So here are the requirements for band 9. Have a look at them and try to highlight the key points. No, I won't give you the answer yet. There are 3 requirements for band 9. Very few students meet all 3 requirements, and that is why it's so difficult to achieve band 9. Why? Because one of those requirements is that you must use less common items accurately. This requirement is only for band 9. It's not for 8, 7, 6, or 5. Let me ask you a question. What do you think? Can you use less common items accurately without having a good knowledge of common items? The answer is no. So, before you start thinking about unusual words, you need to have a very good knowledge of common words, and most importantly, you need to know when and where to use them. That's extremely important. Now let's have a look at the second requirement for band 9. It says that you must vary your sentence structures and use complex and very complex sentences. What does it mean? So, when you talk about sentence structures, it means simple, compound, complex, and very complex sentences, and you need to use them all in your answer, one essay, or report. But this is not enough. When you use simple sentences, it doesn't mean that you get a lower score. When you use compound sentences, it doesn't mean that you get a higher score. When you use complex sentences, it doesn't mean that you get another score. It's all about how you vary them. For example, let's say that you have 4 sentences. In the first sentence, you use a simple structure. In the second sentence, you use a compound structure. In the third sentence, you use a complex structure. And in the last sentence, you use a very complex structure. If you do this, then you vary your sentence structures and you demonstrate a good control of grammar. On the other hand, if you just use simple sentences in your answer, even if they are grammatically correct, you won't get a high score because you didn't use other sentence types. Let me give you an example. This is a task from Cambridge practice tests. Okay, now let's have a look at the third requirement for band 9. The last one. Have a look and see if you can highlight the keywords. Yes, it's range and accuracy of punctuation. You need to use different types of punctuation, and you must use them accurately. In this video, I will focus on the types of punctuation you need for IELTS. However, if you want a video about how to avoid common punctuation mistakes in IELTS, let me know in the comments below. Now, the first thing you need to know is that you don't have to use every type of punctuation in your answer. You don't have to use colons, semicolons, dashes, brackets, commas, and quotes. You don't have to use them all. All you need to do is to use them where necessary. For example, if you have a list, you need to use a comma. Let's say you have 2 items in your list. You don't need a comma. If you have more than 2 items, you need a comma. T. So here is an example with a colon. Take a look at it. I love reading books, watching movies, and playing sports. Now, what do we have here? We have a list of 3 items, but these items are not grammatically independent. If you look at the first item, I love reading books, it's a full sentence. Then we have the next item. It's a full sentence. And then the last item, it's also a full sentence. So instead of using a comma, we use a colon, because these are 3 full sentences. Next, I will give you an example with a semicolon. Have a look. I love reading books. However, I don't have much time for it. I don't watch TV. Therefore, I spend my free time reading. These two sentences are grammatically independent, but logically they are related. We can use a semicolon instead of a full stop. And the last type of punctuation I want to talk about today is brackets. Brackets are used for extra information, for additional information. And if you put the extra information in the middle of the sentence, you use a comma at the end of the sentence. Have a look at the example. My brother Mark, that's my brother's name, is a doctor. He works in a hospital in London. My brother Mark is a doctor. We put the information about his name in brackets. It's extra information, so we don't need a comma after Mark. Then we have the next part of the sentence. He works in a hospital in London. And because it's a new sentence, we need a capital letter and a full stop. Okay, let's have a look at what you have learned today. First of all, you need to know the requirements for Band 9. You need to use less common items accurately. You need to vary your sentence structures, and you need to use a range and accurate punctuation. Also, today we talked about different types of sentences: simple, compound, complex, and very complex. And we talked about 3 types of punctuation: colon, semicolon, and brackets. And now it's your turn. Please let me know what you thought about the video in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next video. Bye.